There are moments in life when we feel completely lost, but that's when talking to others becomes the bridge to finding our way back to peace. Speaking from a place of rawness and vulnerability is not a weakness. In fact, it's a sign of strength because it takes courage to let others in when things are difficult. When you're in the middle of a tough time, it can feel impossible to move forward, but expressing what's in your heart can unlock the path toward healing and resolution. It's in our toughest moments that we need the most understanding, and sometimes just talking it through can help us see things in a completely new light. You don't have to solve everything alone. Sometimes all it takes is the willingness to speak up and let someone share the burden with you. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed by our thoughts and emotions, but by talking about them with someone who truly listens, we can bring order to the chaos. When we're going through difficult times, we often want to withdraw. But the truth is, it's in opening up to others that we start to find our strength again. The storm inside might rage, but expressing what you're feeling allows the calm to settle in and gives you the clarity to move forward. The power of a conversation is often underestimated. When you speak openly about your struggles, you invite understanding and support that can make all the difference. Being in a tough situation doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human, and reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not defeat. There's something incredibly healing about simply speaking your truth, even when it's difficult. It clears the air and creates space for growth and understanding. Life can throw curveballs, but when you take the time to talk things through, you might just discover new solutions you never thought possible. Tough situations often come with feelings of confusion, but when we share those feelings with someone who truly listens, it's like finding a map in the midst of a fog. Sometimes words are the only thing we need to turn the chaos inside into something more manageable. Talking it out is the first step toward peace. When everything feels like it's falling apart, talking about it is the most important thing you can do. It's through conversation that you find the courage to rebuild. We all face moments where the weight is too much to carry alone. That's why it's so important to speak up, to reach out, and to let others help shoulder the load. It's okay to feel unsure, to feel uncertain. But by sharing those feelings, you open the door to the support and clarity that can guide you through the difficulty. In our most difficult moments, it can feel like there's no way out. But by speaking openly about our struggles, we begin to carve a path toward healing and resolution. Life's challenges are never easy, but when you take the time to talk about them, you often realize that the burden is lighter when shared with someone who cares. In times of uncertainty, we all need someone to talk to. It's in those conversations that we often find the clarity and support we've been longing for. The most difficult situations often teach us the value of honest communication. It's through talking that we begin to understand ourselves better and find the strength to move forward. When you're caught in the whirlwind of a tough situation, sometimes the only thing that can ground you is a conversation that helps you see things clearly. Difficult times can feel overwhelming, but by speaking up, you give yourself the opportunity to process your emotions and take control of your situation. The best way through a difficult situation is often to share it with someone who listens, who understands, and who can offer perspective and support. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Talking about it helps us gain perspective and find the courage to keep going. When you're going through a tough time, the most healing thing you can do is open up and share your thoughts and emotions with someone who truly cares. It's okay to feel overwhelmed by life's difficulties, but talking through your feelings can turn those overwhelming moments into stepping stone toward healing. In every difficult situation, there is room for growth. By speaking from the heart and sharing your struggles, you invite healing, understanding, and new possibilities. The most challenging times in life can often be the most transformative, especially when we take the time to open up, to share, and to talk things through with someone who understands. Sometimes we find ourselves in difficult situations where the path forward feels unclear, yet in those moments, the most important thing is to talk, to let others in, and to seek understanding. The heart feels burdened and the mind races. But it's in these times of uncertainty that opening up becomes a bridge toward clarity and peace. When life pushes you to the edge, you can either shut down or lean into the discomfort. It's okay to say, "I'm struggling," because it's in that honesty that healing begins. In the midst of life's toughest moments, communication becomes the light that guides us out of the shadows. Sometimes, all we need is someone to listen. It's okay to admit when things aren't going well, to allow yourself the space to be vulnerable. It's in those conversations that the weight of the world feels a little lighter. When the storm inside feels overwhelming, speaking about it can bring calm, like a release of tension that restores balance within the soul. The silence between us can sometimes feel louder than words, but talking about our struggles can transform that silence into something meaningful and healing. We're all navigating difficult situations, and sometimes all it takes to find a bit of peace is to speak up, to share the feelings that are too heavy to carry alone. There's no shame in feeling lost. The key is not to stay in that place of isolation. Opening up is the first step toward finding your way again. When we speak from a place of vulnerability, we invite understanding and compassion, and that shared connection can make even the most difficult moments feel a little more bearable. I've learned that it's okay not to have all the answers right away. What matters is the courage to express your thoughts and feelings, to let someone in even when it feels too hard. There are times when we are simply overwhelmed, but sharing that overwhelm with someone who listens can transform confusion into clarity. Difficult situations often bring out the rawest parts of us, but it's through opening up that we find the strength to navigate them with grace. Sometimes the hardest part of a tough situation is asking for help, but when you do, you're reminded that you don't have to face the storm alone. In our darkest moments, it's easy to feel like there's no way out, but speaking honestly about what we're going through can be the first step toward finding a solution. We all go through periods where we feel lost, but don't forget that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness. Talking through what you're facing is a step toward freedom. The hardest part is often taking the first step, opening up to someone else. But once you do, you'll realize how powerful that conversation can be. Sometimes, the most healing thing we can do is simply sit with someone and share our deepest fears and thoughts without judgment or expectation. When we're overwhelmed by life's challenges, it's crucial to find the words to express how we're feeling. It's in those moments that we realize we're not as alone as we think. Facing tough situations can leave us feeling trapped, but talking things through with someone who cares can be the release we need to start moving forward again. We may not have all the answers, but when we're honest about our emotions and struggles, we open the door to understanding and support. There's no shame in being in a difficult place. What matters is having the courage to reach out, to ask for the space to talk and process. Every tough situation holds the potential for growth. Talking about it doesn't just lighten the load, it can lead to deeper insights and strength. When the world feels heavy and the weight of it all becomes too much, sharing our thoughts with someone else can create a shared moment of healing. It's easy to let our emotions get the best of us when we're overwhelmed, but expressing them calmly to someone who understands can bring clarity to our minds. We often think we need to have everything figured out, but the truth is, sometimes all we need is a conversation, an honest exchange of feelings to make sense of things. Difficult moments can feel isolating, but speaking from the heart can transform our sense of separation into one of connection. It's okay to not be okay, but what matters most is taking the step to talk about it, to share what's really going on inside. In the midst of struggle, words can be the most powerful tool to find clarity and to remind us that we are not alone in what we're facing. There's a unique kind of healing that happens when we are brave enough to express our deepest thoughts and emotions to someone who truly listens. The weight of a situation can seem insurmountable, but opening up about it, truly sharing how we feel, can make all the difference in shifting our perspective.